can recover, and I will stand up in public and defend people who recover and say they have recovered, they did have chronic fatigue syndrome, they did have long COVID, and you can't just dismiss them because it suits your framework. So I will be on radio. I'm on radio tomorrow at 2 o'clock on BBC Devon. I'm on radio the next day with European Radio. Then I'm on Health Radio on the 16th of May. I have got 3 free events, which I know some people that are here today have actually booked in, but there are 3 events coming up to give you a lot more input into the science, input into the beliefs, and inputs into the saboteurs that get you stuck. So it'd be lovely if you joined me on that journey. And yeah, so I've got some really, really interesting stuff coming up, apparently. I just heard today, but I won't say any more until it happens. Yeah, but yeah, that would be good. So over to you, lovely people.
So yeah, if you can raise a hand, that would be really good, and we can unmute you or unmute yourself for any questions that we can help you with.
So ordered the book on Book Depository. Jonathan, are you there? Where's Jonathan?
Hi. Yeah, I'm just getting the link now. I'm trying to find it.
So Jonathan's going to put up the links where you can buy it. It is actually with Amazon. I actually I'm
going to put a link for Amazon and Artbound and put them both here.
Yeah. So Artbound are the publishers who have been amazing, and they are a charity. So if you can support Artbound, they are an amazing charity that help people with deprivation, and they help them accomplish their dream of writing, whether it's writing poems or novels or research or whatever. You know, they brought people on who had no education and they just really wanted to do this. They're amazing. They have promoters, they have writers who help them to write, and a lot of the money from their publications goes into the charity. Maybe one day I'll be a trustee, that'd be nice. I actually only found out about them through Googling people per hour when I was trying to find a typist because I couldn't type. And this lovely lady, Amanda Thomas, said, I can do it for you. And she's actually a trustee of this. She's a journalist and a writer and a trustee. So many lovely people work for this company. So if you want to buy it through Artbound, that would be really lovely. It is available on Amazon. It's also available, it's an academic book as well. That's why you can ignore the science, because it is available at Blackwell's for academic press and for practitioners. And it's available at Waterstones and W.H. Smith. When you go into the bookshops, if you please say to them, you should have this in your bookshop, because I don't want to have to buy it on Amazon. And then they'll start to get it in, because that's the only way a bookshop is going to order it. I do have to trek the country, putting in an advanced information form for them, but they have got distributors. And if you want to support local bookshops, that would be amazing. Their distributor is called Garner. So if you ever want to go into an independent bookshop and say, can you order this book for me through Garner? So our distributor is Gazelle, but they work with Garner, and they're the people who go to independent shops and provide for them, so that Amazon don't get all of it. So yeah, lovely to support Artbound. And I think the links are up. Yeah. So yeah, there's
yeah, it's great. Someone's going to get their GP to read it, which
oh, brilliant.
Fantastic.
Do you know, my new GP, I was telling him about it the other week, and he is desperate to read it because they just want to know. they haven't got a clue. There's nothing on NICE guidelines that gives them any idea of what to do with it. Cats just disappeared us.
Oh, no.
How to Zoom. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, GPs, honestly, you speak to your GP, and I really think 9 times out of 10, they're just fascinated. You say to them, what is it then? And you explain it's the defense mechanism that's gone into overdrive, and it's to teach people how to turn it off. They're like, oh my God, of course it is. Really, I talk to lots of GPs. I've done talks in lots of different places. Yeah, so you've got your links there. Oh, somebody's ordered with Artband. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I'd like to be a trustee, actually. That's really nice. Is there anybody? Let's see. Excuse me. I'm just going to read through. Oh yeah, that's me. Oh, thank you, Dawn. You're a little star. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Elle. Yeah, it's just people saying brilliant, and they've actually worked with me. So Jonathan said there's 9 unlimited time, so dip in that when you want to. This taught me so much, and inspiring, excited to hear about the book. Thank you. Look forward to reading your book from Jackie. That's lovely. Interesting, my natural homeopathy. My teacher got threats because he was treating people with AIDS. I know, this was the same story with AIDS. Do you remember that? Oh, Jim, thank you for what we brought me and still bringing. This is a man who is so ill, and we're still in touch on Facebook, actually. Thank you, Jim. That's so lovely. Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, we actually sent messages, don't we, for various reasons. So you're a pharmacist, aren't you, Jim? You unmuted? Are you unmuted?
Yes, I'm a pharmacist, so of course there's a lot of the health professionals that end up with this. You know, so many health professionals, so many people in education and things like that. People who burn themselves out, don't they? Don't they? But
absolutely.
I can't.
They're running on empty when they get the viruses.
I can't believe how my life has been since this turned it around. It just wasn't on the cards how good my life has been. You know, it's just wonderful.
So lovely. And actually, you said, can everybody read the chats? Oh, you can read the chats. Yeah. Jim, you just said the ME and CFS world I belong to became hostile when I recovered.
Ridiculous.
Isn't that? I mean, they should be celebrating. Wouldn't they celebrate if you had cancer and you recovered? I mean,
no, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe that's a human nature thing. You know, it's.
There's not many people that wouldn't be happy if somebody had recovered from cancer or recovered from a heart attack. Yeah. But I mean, you know, it was a real eye-opener to me because I was so naive. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you. Oh, I love the books like that. Thank you. So overjoyed that you've published. Oh, thank you, Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Hello, lovely.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm. Was out for a swim just before I joined this Zoom. Yeah, I truly just thank you. I mean, I truly believe my life since doing the course with you. I can't imagine what it would have been like otherwise. And I'm still intrigued. I'm still, I would say, getting occasionally stuck. So I think there's things I need to work on.
Yes. Well, read the book, and then if you still get stuck, because you shouldn't be getting stuck, But it's completely normal because, you know, I've been a practitioner for years
Yeah.
and I still got stuck. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's completely normal, but you can overcome that. So do read the bit about this staying healthy, and the whole thing about revising stuff. But also there will be workshops. I'm doing a workshop in Edinburgh actually. So
Yeah.
On 29th of June
Yeah.
at Salisbury Centre. I'm doing a workshop in Exeter Gym on the
Yeah.
9th of June, I think it is. And then a workshop in Bristol on the 27th of May. So not long actually. And then a workshop here for anybody. But yeah, so lots and lots of follow-up. And then you can do the 3 events to see what you're getting stuck on and join in. This is just a launch, but if you want to join in the next ones and say, I'm stuck on this, and what do I need to do? And that would be really useful. And we could actually do some demonstration. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Thank you. Brian Kelly, I know Brian from previously and actually saw Brian Kelly about a year ago. Said it's so lovely to see you talking about this, you brave lady. I know. Isn't that extraordinary though? Isn't it extraordinary that we have to be brave to talk about recovery from an illness? I will go into some other stuff, but there's so much stuff to do with this illness. There's so many ways you can get stuck. Oh yes, Melanie, showering, it's in the book. The Wim Hof expert. Yeah, so it's in the book about actually cold showers stimulate the vagal system. So I wouldn't start completely cold when you're ill. I would start and just get your body adjusted. Because again, there's a big thing, one of the symptoms of having chronic fatigue syndrome and long COVID is that you go into this state of being hypersensitive. So hypersensitive, it's sensory. And this again is back to evolution and the defense mechanism, the protective system, the survival system, the animal is looking out for threats. So you're like on red alert and your eyes become hypersensitive to light. I can remember feeling like I had lasers going through my head when somebody opened the curtain. My previous husband started calling me Dracula. That was the time that I realized I was heading for a relapse. So hypersensitive to light, to sound, to touch. I know people that literally cannot be touched because it's agony, but also hypersensitivity to hot and cold, to any extremes. So cold showers are great, but I definitely would say build up to cold showers. I would personally say start with just bringing down the temperature slowly until that feels fine, and that feels fine. And like everything in the book, you do things for a long while until actually that feels absolutely fine, and then I'll take another step. So everything is gentle in this book. The whole thing is gentle. There's no rush. So yeah, definitely. And then before long, Melanie, you'll be doing the Wim Hof. Yes.
You can come here, yeah. Melanie, you can come here and train even. So
anybody else on this evening that fancies doing a Wim Hof? Any chance?
Ice action could put a bit of lime, isn't it?
It's it's quite interesting. I went to a hotel and had a massage. I've had long COVID for COVID 25 months ago, and chronic fatigue syndrome as well. And I said to the lady, the masseur, she said, how do you want to feel afterwards? And I said, not exhausted, because I'm already exhausted. And this massage was called well, I'll spell it, Ayurvedic.
Vedic, yeah.
I
Yeah.
When I had it done, I was like, I'm better. I felt better. And I came home because it was about an hour away. Came home, felt amazing. Had the best night's sleep I've had in 25 months. The next day, I had a shower, washed my hair straight and dried it, which normally is exhausting. But I went a bit far by hanging washing out, but rested a bit. But then I had to go and visit a friend, go food shopping, see my parents. And I did it, but I've done too much because I feel as rubbish as I normally do. I did too much. But this, I was going to look into this. But you've had it, have you? These massages?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, my experience actually was different. My experience of having massage or reflexology was I felt great at the time, and then I was in bed again, just crashed
oh
for
no.
days.
Oh
So
golly.
I think it's different for different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really gobsmacked. Somebody gave me a nice little health thing when I was really poorly the first time, and I thought, oh, that's so lovely. And I came home thinking that was so lovely, and then I just literally crashed at the bottom of my stairs.
Oh,
But so I think, but if that works, and that's brilliant, and I wouldn't think you're overdoing it. The only time you overdo it, if you feel you're pushing yourself, if your body doesn't feel well and you're pushing through, I would never recommend pushing through.
no.
And this is where it's a real discipline and also a big challenge, because you've got to get rid of all of your belief systems and all of your values that I can't let people down and I've got to do this. And but this was my difficulty with the relapse, because I have to get out of bed because I've got Sam coming off the school bus and I've got to look after him and I've got to do this, and you know, and it really is a real journey of learning lots and lots of patterns. That the bottom line is, in the fearless, one is focus. And I talk a lot about focus in the book, because focus is the key for, in terms of neuroscience, of changing the brain's perception of, you know, where you're at, whether you're safe or not safe, etc. But also the L in fearless is to love yourself and to look after yourself. And, you know, hands up, how many people, even when they're ill, are 100% looking after themselves? Or are you thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to go see my mom, I've got to go and see this, I've got to do that? And it's a real struggle to put your hand up and say, do you know what? I'm really ill. Somebody else will have to take over. And that was a big lesson for me. And, you know, I think big lesson for everybody, because it's so natural to keep going and to do things. And you want to, because you feel worthless if you're not doing it. But so I would say to you, Melanie, absolutely, a fantastic, your massage was wonderful. And I haven't had that particular massage, I have to say. I had a real sports massage thing. But when you go to do something, just become very mindful. You know, mindfulness is 24 hours a day. It's not doing an exercise.
Yeah.
Just become mindful, not analytical, not anxious or concerned, just mindful of, is my body feeling okay? Or actually, has it had enough? And if it's had enough, I'm just going to have to phone and say, do you know what? The washing will have to wait. You know, who gives a monkeys? My youngsters, who are gorgeous youngsters here this evening, Kate and Amy, I have no idea how they survived when I was bedridden. But I know 100% nothing got done on my part when I was bedridden. And even when I was able to get out of bed, you know, I crawled out of bed the first time, and it took months. So I don't know if Amy and Kate spend their Saturdays hoovering and polishing and cleaning and, you know, doing all that stuff. Why would they? But so what? You know, a big lesson is to prioritize. do the stuff that really, really matters. And, you know, we've spent our life becoming programmed, thinking we've got to do this and got to do that, when actually nobody gives a monkeys. I actually stopped polishing. I used to be crazy robotic. I had a routine from 6:30 in the morning till midnight every single day of my life of what had to get done. And when I got better, I just thought, you know, nobody gives a monkeys if I've got dust on the shelf. Nobody cares if I haven't hoovered. And if they do care, they're the people you don't want in your life. I had somebody come into my house, take a picture off the wall and say, oh, I bet you haven't dusted behind here. And I was like, do you know what? I don't need that. Because people who really love you, people who really, really are there for you, are far more interested in your health than they are in whether you got the washing out or whether you even went to visit them that day. So it has to be only urgent. And if your body's working, use it. If it doesn't feel okay, don't do anything. Don't push through. You're walking on a broken leg. Get your body back into, and I teach you how to get it back into the parasympathetic, and I teach you how to get it, the vagal system working. And then you can go and visit your parents. Then you can do what you like and be ecstatic. Fire off your endorphins, be excited. You know, do everything that stimulates your body and makes your vagal system work again. So I used to celebrate ridiculous things. I celebrated crawling to the toilet when I was first bedridden. I was like, yes, I did it. I got completely bedridden. And then I celebrated making my first cup of tea. And I can remember celebrating getting down the stairs, but I couldn't get back up again. So I can remember just sleeping at the bottom of the stairs and saying to myself, but you got down, you did it. And that's how you do the counterintuitive. You always tell the body that you are okay, no matter what happens. But I never pushed through. I didn't force myself back up the stairs. I just lay down at the bottom of the stairs and, you know, slept or rested. And then when my body felt able, I then moved again. So it's all about, you know, you know this as well. Everything is about working with nature. Everything is getting back to nature. Forget the modern world. Forget the got tos, have tos. Care about what you're wearing. Care about, you know. And I do actually, funny enough, care about my frizzy fringe. Had to straighten it tonight. But you know, those things don't really matter in the whole scheme of things. It's an amazing journey. You work out what matters, your values. It is an extraordinary journey, and actually learning to live with silence and to do mindfulness. You would probably never have done that if you hadn't been in this journey. You would never have thought, you know, what was I doing before I got COVID? What was I doing that probably isn't that useful for me? So anybody else? I just see there's a few questions. Well done, Melanie, that was brilliant.
So we'll be on audio.
Oh, where in Exeter? You're in Plymouth. I haven't booked Plymouth. The only reason I haven't booked Plymouth is because I used to work at the Copthorpe Hotel, which is not very friendly and it's not a very nice venue. And if you can find me a venue in Plymouth that is, you know, nice and easy, there's your little challenge, then I'll come to Plymouth.
Where are you based? Where are you based?
What's that?
Where are you based? Where do you
I'm
live?
up in Bideford.
Oh, are you? Oh,
Yeah.
my parents are from there. Oh,
Oh, are they?
yeah.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah.
I'm not giving my address away in case.
No.
So in Exeter, it's going to be at St Martin's Church, which is in Cathedral Close, in Cathedral Square, where the big cathedral is, a tiny, tiny little church beside it. It's in there on the, if the 6th is a Monday, oh, it's the 8th, I think it's the 8th. Oh yes, Jonathan's put up all the free Eventbrites. That's nice. So if you want to join any of those, click on the link
And register.
and we can talk lots more. It'll just be one topic a week. So 1 week it'll be going through the science, 1 week it'll be going through the beliefs, 1 week it'll be going through the saboteurs. Oh, thank you, Susan. Bought it on Artbind. That's really kind. The only difficulty at the moment, Artbind actually printed the traffic lights in black and white, and printed the autonomic nervous system diagram in black and white. So you'll just have to use your imagination and know that traffic lights are red, amber, and green. I think you'll be able to do that. Oh yes, Indian head massage made you really ill. Yeah, yeah. I think overstimulation when you're not well is really not useful. It's everything has to be gentle. My biggest strength has probably been the discipline not to overdo things. So thank you, Jim.
Yeah, it's a real
Yeah.
skill, that one.
Simply tell people and myself I want to. I think that's so interesting. I mean, I was actually going to write a book called From Survive to Thrive, rather than get embroiled in the ME world, because I knew what would happen. Because so many young people I talk to are really, really struggling. And it's not just young people, it's every generation. You know, the millennium generation talk about the burnout generation. They are the burnout generation because they are trying to optimize in a million different ways. The same as my generation was the feminist generation, where you're supposed to be, you know, everything. You're supposed to be a career woman and a brilliant mum and keep the house perfect and, you know, do 1,000,001 exciting activities. And it's and I do think there's a real epidemic in this country. In fact, Jonathan, are you there? Is Jonathan still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, it is.
You were talking about this the other day, weren't you? About how hard it is not to overdo things because
Yeah,
your world
no.
is full of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially for people of like Gen Z, millennial generations, there's always this like pressure, social media of like a hustle culture and like having to grind and having to be doing all these different things and at the same time just to stay ahead. And it's really damaging, I think, for our generation to have so much pressure constantly and develop, you know, any way to like, you know, relax and actually sort of unwind. And I think it's been very difficult for like a lot of people, like who I know especially. It's been so burnt out by everything, really.
And it is a real cultural epidemic, you know. I don't know if it's in every country in the world, but certainly in our culture. And really, it's up to us to actually have to stand up and make our own decisions and not buy into the whole culture. And I know that's really hard, but you can do it. And actually the whole of the second part of the book, which is why Kat said it's useful for anybody, is to do with, you know, what are we doing? You know, we are like any organism on the planet. We are every animal, every plant, human being, we're designed with a threshold. You're designed with a tolerance level. Every bridge, every road, every single thing on this planet is designed with a tolerance level. And when you go beyond that tolerance level, you have to fire off the defense mechanism because that's the only way organisms can survive. So plants will drop their leaves. That's their defense mechanism. They'll drop their leaves. They'll go brown. They'll start to shrivel because that's their defense mechanism to try and save the rest of the plant by dropping as many as they can. Animals, you know, will take all the reserves from their muscles if they're not being fed. And I think it's really remiss that we've forgotten that we are just one little organism in nature and we're not living as we were designed, as we were born to be. we are human and we are organism. And if we're not living in the right habitat, if you're not living in the right niche, if you're not having your, nurturing and nourished, then like any plant, you will wither. And actually, the whole of the premise of this book is general adapter syndrome, which is if you are not living in the right conditions, whether it is, pressures, mental load, because you've got 1,000,001 things to keep in your head, 101 physical tasks to do. Social conflict has been shown in research to actually be more detrimental than all other factors in terms of health. And that includes smoking and diet and exercise. So when you're talking about social media and feeling the pressure of social media, that's having a real impact on the brain, because it's perceiving that this organism isn't thriving, that actually it's got threats all around it. And therefore I've got to turn on the defense mechanisms all the time. And that is not how we're meant to live. You're not meant to live in survival mode. You can live in it for years and years and years. I did, lived in it for years. You'll end up getting general adapter syndrome is basically saying you live in that situation, then you'll go through a period of resistance, because every organism on the planet is unbelievably resistant. You look at dogs and donkeys and plants, and they will try to live. We are born with a life force that tries to keep going regardless of how awful conditions are. And that's called resistance. And in that period for human beings, you will start to develop gut problems and skin disorders and rashes, headaches, feeling tired all the time, etc., etc. But that's when dis-ease and susceptible to chemical intolerances, all those sorts of things start to IBS. People live with it for years and years because we are so strong as an organism. But ultimately, the final stage is called exhaustion. And that was coined 1936. Exhaustion for any organism is when the body literally packs in and it dies. So fatigue is the final stage, when that's why the reptile is so you need to take it seriously. The reptile is the body kicking in and saying, this is the last resort. After this we wither. So I really do think part 2 is so important to get your head around, but also to start living it. It's easy to read a book and it's easy to know everything. You all know it already. Everything in this book you will already know. But you're not consciously doing it because you're in autopilot. And we do, as human beings, we live in autopilot 80% of the time. That's how your brain is meant to function. That's how we're meant to function. But that's not useful when you actually need to be getting out of autopilot and just, on the hamster wheel, responding in the same way all the time, and actually becoming conscious. And that's why mindfulness is so important, to become conscious of what I'm doing. Not just to talk about it, not just say, oh yeah, I feel crap, it's awful. And then you carry on doing the same old thing. It's actually, hang on, what am I doing? And then it's thinking, what can I do? What can I ditch? So the whole of the second part of the book is what can you do to actually make life more reasonable, not just for people with chronic fatigue and long COVID, but everybody that is in this resistant phase, that some people call burnout because it's to do with overload. But I do think it's a real epidemic. I've spoken to so many youngsters on social media the last few months, and they're just saying, they're living on their wing and a prayer. They're just getting up, keeping going, going to bed, getting up, keeping going. And it's funny, the 3 young people I've just spoken to the last week, they are actually social media people. they're not actually working social media, but their job relies on social media. They're photographers and journalists, and they're relying on social media to put their stuff up all the time and all the time and all the time, and then feeling threatened when they don't get responses or whatever. Yeah, it is really fascinating. That's why I said if I ever do another book, it'll be on Survive to Thrive. Oh, thank you, Les. That's lovely. It will eventually be coming out as an audio so that people that are so ill can listen to it rather than read it or have somebody to read it for them. But at the moment, the technician is busy with other stuff. So yeah, I'm sure it was Karen University, Bernard. Acupuncture work in my base. Melanie, if your acupuncture is having a good effect with you, then that's great. It's just the consistency. The whole thing is you need to become mindful of when I'm not at the acupuncturist and that's doing lovely stuff, am I then reverting to all the things that we talk about in the book that will actually perpetuate the sickness loop and perpetuate the condition? So just become mindful of, did I used to think like this? Did I used to act like this when I walked upstairs or when I went to put the washing out? Or have I started to develop what they call the sickness patterns, which is you become institutionalized, you develop new ways of living. So just become really mindful of that, but the acupuncture itself is great. Just sort of doing that too. Oh, well done, Susan. Where is Susan? Yeah, amazing. Celebrated washing her hair. Oh, yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. I remember so many people saying the day they could wash their own hair was amazing. Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Would anybody like to speak up, say, share anything with anybody else? Please can we check if anyone watching this has managed to record up till now? Oh, I don't know.
No, they didn't. They haven't. They've only been able to do the questions.
Oh, okay. Jonathan, they can't, it's not recorded.
You know, I've recorded up to like the Q&A. So like sort of part 2 of this I've recorded. So it's not like the first part, but like still recording now.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much, everybody. I know it's very, very late. You've all stuck in there. Thank you so much. Would anybody like to say a last little thing? Please join me next Monday if you'd like to, you know, get into it a bit more depth.
Yeah, we still have 5 minutes. If anyone's got any more questions or anything they want to say before we end.
All good? So I'll just...
Thank you, Jan, and well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think you can tell I'm very passionate about telling people they can recover.
Yeah, I just want to say well done as well. And I think it should be made available that all GPs are aware of it and use this.
Absolutely.
It's crazy that it's not accepted. It just blows my mind that they'll spend millions on drugs
I know.
and throw every drug at you, kind of thing.
It's really tragic. And what is quite tragic with the money that's pouring into long COVID now,
yeah,
with chronic fatigue as a little piggyback, is it's almost completely going on the biomedical. It's looking at the biomedical conditions, which we all know anyway. And it's looking at, you know, so it's back to the old pharmaceutical companies But which is so sad, because you can buy a book for 12 quid and get yourself better. You know, obviously I'll mentor people and help people along the way. But I just think they don't need to be spending all that money. But it's really sad that they don't know. And it is, and of course, you know, I actually speaking with a man, he is a general physician. So he's actually a consultant of all conditions, which is very unusual today. He's like a specialist in the whole thing. And he said it's just tragic that we're not allowed to offer. We can't offer unless it's been evidence-based, unless it's proven. I mean, this is never going to be evidence-based. I can't do a double bind with 5,000 people or 10,000 people. I mean, it'd be impossible to do a double blind anyway. I can't, how am I supposed to do a double blind and pretend I don't know what I'm talking about? That what I'm supposed to say, and I can't do a randomized trial. It's going to cost £1 million that pharmaceutical companies just chuck out all the time. It's never, ever, ever going to happen, ever, because it's not the system. But that doesn't mean that GPs and practitioners aren't really, really interested, and it will cost them absolutely nothing to use the approaches in this book with their patients, so that they give them hope.
Yeah.
They explain what this may be and what you could do to help yourself. But whereas my GP used to refer people to me, and lots of GPs did, they weren't allowed to legally refer because they're liable, but they used to just say, have you heard of so-and-so? And they could pass it on. But now I'm not even sure they can do that. But yeah, I just think everybody does need to understand it better.
Yeah.
A lot better. And this would be a much freaking cheaper way on the NHS for people to be helped anyway. But and you were really ill, Karen, weren't you? You know, for people to be,
Oh God, yeah.
well, you didn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, and even like the pain clinic, up until when I was in hospital with the pancreatitis, all the pain clinic, I mean, it's the drugs that they throw at you. They wanted to increase pregabalin. They wanted to up all the medications. And I actually, interestingly enough, what you said about the antidepressants, I still am on an antidepressant. And you've just got me thinking, I wonder if I could reduce it to come off it.
But do it sensibly with your GP.
Yeah, but I am curious now, because I still am on a lot of medication, and a lot of it I do question, but they have said, again, medical profession, that I have to stay on it, some of it for life, to prevent pancreatitis, due to the genetic side.
Yeah,
which is where, you know.
I don't know. I mean, that is something completely different. I only talk about the autonomic nervous system. So I definitely would speak to your GP. I wouldn't come off anything.
Unfortunately,
but in terms of antidepressants, then that's different.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to speak to her about that.
Definitely.
I'm going to, something I'm now intrigued by, so I'm going to speak to her about it. So thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, let's do lots of exercises for the, if it is depression, or they're just keeping you on it.
No, do you know what? That's what I was thinking there. They put me on it when I first took ill, when I was 19, because that was what they prescribed for chronic fatigue, AME, because it was supposed to help. So I was on fluoxetine for 20 odd years. And then my GP had to change GPs, and she changed me off fluoxetine onto sertraline, because she said that that's supposed to be a better one for patients to be on if you have chronic fatigue. But I'm now going to go back and speak to her again, because I know she has a pharmacy background, and I'm going to speak to her about all that again.
Jim will be your little buddy.
Because it's
Are you allowed to
it's
say anything
certainly.
as a pharmacist, Jim?
Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, you're mute. Hang on, he's on mute. How do I do the sign for on mute?
Find you.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
You know, it's having enough knowledge in the specific areas to talk on it. You know, it's
Yeah.
difficult. And again, and when we're talking about the pancreatitis and things, we're talking about organ things, which is again, you know, so.
Yeah.
But what about the antidepressants? Could you go and ask your doctor about that?
Yeah, I mean, anybody can ask the doctor about antidepressants. Funnily enough, I was just having a quick flick on the NICE site, because for depression, they do talk about behavioral activation, and they do talk about CBT and things like that. And there's maybe scope for eventually getting something like this recognized in the right way, but it'll probably be when some big company can make a lot of money out of it that it happens. But yeah, with
I mean, they are offered things on the NHS, but nowadays, certainly in Devon, it tends to be either group things or very small sessions or online.
Well, they're looking now at CBT for chronic pain. They're looking at it for a whole bunch of organic things, which is, you know, they're starting to come into where we are. You know, they're coming into our area, and they're doing it for the wrong motivation. They're doing it to save money and to get waiting lists down. But
and yet, unfortunately, October 2021, they've just taken it off for chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yeah. It's been it's crazy. Yeah.
I must let people go because I'm aware it's 9 o'clock. But yeah, come and join me next week if you'd like to chat about the science a bit more, and Pavlov's dogs.
Oh yes, Pavlov.
Pavlov's dogs salivating to the bell.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much it affects this illness. So thank you so much, everybody. So lovely to see you all. And
thanks everyone for coming.
Do get your free ticket on the link if you want to do that next week.
Thank you very much.
Links are all there.
Thank you so much.
Because when it comes to any of the next few weeks. So and thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, my gorgeous girls. Bye, everybody. You can all